Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is literally like wrapping a present and not giving it. This is a quote from William Arthur Ward. It is a season for giving. It is a season for gratitude. What are you grateful for? What is holding you back from expressing it? Perhaps you're coming from a place of turmoil. Welcome to Tuesday Talks at 3. This is a platform for women to help one another in our daily journey as we go through the sphere of life. My name is Lucy Macridis, and I'm the founder of LMC Consultancy and an expert in helping women get unstuck and onto their full potential through unlocking their limiting beliefs. I'm a clarity coach, I'm a mentor, I'm an online facilitator, and I want to thank you specifically for being with us on this gratitude series broadcast. As I said, this December, it's all about gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. It's taking stock of the year and giving thanks. It's a humbling moment. Now, there's going to be 4 episodes, and we've already done the first episode. However, these episodes will be about how to build that gratitude muscle through habits. And this is borrowed from a business coach by the name of Mark Petit. Now, Mark Petit took us through 4 sessions, and this is what we're going to use just as our maxim to help us to understand. So appreciation was our first session, and this can be found on our YouTube channel. The recording is there. Now, this week, we are looking at communing with gratitude. Now, as a tool for sustainable attitude of gratitude, how do we use communing with gratitude? And this is about communing using your community around you. Who's your circle of influence? Who's your tribe? And then we will move on to being present to gratitude. That will be the 3rd session. And then the last but not least will be setting the intention to be grateful. So I ask you a few questions for today that we will take right through to the end. Who is surrounding you? Who's your community? Who is your circle of influence? Who are those people that you have that are either driving your narrative or you are driving theirs? Or perhaps you're complementing one another. Is gratitude part of their speech? Because as you speak, as you communicate, what are those salient words and phrases that come up? How can you influence the communication flow? Can you? Maybe you can't. Maybe you can't. Only you can answer these questions. I would love for you to pay attention to each answer and see how your gratitude muscle can grow. Now, I would like you to just imagine that as you're looking at the answers to these questions, you are surrounded by a group of people. And as you're surrounded by them, the messaging that you're giving is for this season of gratitude. Can you feel it? Can you become it? What can you do to adjust it so that you're able to have thankfulness and gratitude? And we're going to be sharing a bit of this in the quotes today. It is my hope that this series will help you gracefully exit 2021, because once we have gratitude for the year that has been, we are able to step into the next year with great tools that we can start with the action plan that I gave you last week called Active Gratitude, where you are seeking the gratitude even before it happens, before you need to do it, so that it can be more into effect in your life. It can be more into being plugged in into your life. It can be more real, something to work with. Last week, I advised you to identify 2 areas of focus in your life. This construct continues to guide our gratitude series. The 8 areas of focus in my life, as I mentioned them last week, in no particular order, are family, spirituality, friends, fun, health, career, money, and love. What are yours? Were you able to come up with 8, or did you come up at least with 2? We need you to have these 2 so that we can continue with the episode in our series of gratitude for things to make sense. Now, last week, the emphasis was on my career and how it is I started, and thanking people for having been on that journey with me. Today, it's about my friends and family and tips on how to have a sustainable attitude of gratitude. A sustainable attitude of gratitude. And you know now sustainable is a buzzword in the industry. So how are we going to keep this attitude of gratitude? How are we going to keep it sustainable? And what do we mean? Will it be here today and gone tomorrow? We don't want that. We want something that grows our muscle, something that becomes second nature. And just like habits are formed over 21 days, this then become our go-to, our reboot. This is what we call ourselves as, we define ourselves as. And you want to be called that person who is grateful for being alive. That person who is happy for being alive and expresses it through acts. And what kind of acts are these that you would be expressing them through? Only you can answer that question. So it is my hope that you are tuned in onto our Facebook Live and that you already have the questions that we are looking at today. I will repeat the questions. Who is surrounding you? Who is that circle of influence? Who is your tribe? Who is that community around you? Because we want to commune with gratitude. Is gratitude part of their speech? How can you influence that communication flow in that group of people? So if we were just to jump straight into giving thanks to family and friends, let's just think of family for a moment, and we think about children and empowering children during the holidays. In April this year, this is what we did. Now, Angela Morenga of Just Angie, Julie Ogutu, Grace Kariuki, Pauline Mbogwa, and Liz Mangeli, I thank you for reminding us that children are a gift from God. We have a duty as parents and guardians to impart knowledge for growth. We are the ones who were given these children as a gift. And therefore, we have to do our part unto these children. And it is about growing them from one season to the other. I thank you for making us aware that we have to cultivate the social and mental health of our children. During this pandemic, we may have been selfish or maybe not even aware of the fact that our children also had social and mental health withdrawals. They were pulled away from society. But we may not have given that a thought. I want to thank you, ladies, for making us aware of that, and that we need to cultivate the social and mental health of our children. I want to thank you, ladies, for emphasizing that children need the power of vision to propel themselves into their future, not ours. This is a life that they're going to live. It's not about us putting our ideas into their mind as opposed to us planting the idea that they can do anything that they want to do and that we support them. We are their support system. And we allow them to blossom. We encourage them and guide them to have a power of vision for their lives, because they're living their lives. We've already lived ours. We can only guide. We need to be the example. I thank you, ladies, for embedding the power of spiritual legacy, empowering our children with spiritual legacy, teaching them the word of God to whatever religion that we subscribe to, that we are embedding this into their lives. My question is, how are you influencing the narrative in your children's lives for a sustainable attitude of gratitude? Are you looking at them as a gift? Are you looking at them as a wholesome person who has got wellness to consider? Are you looking at them as somebody who is guided, has a purpose in life, a reason to wake up in the morning, has got a role model to look up to, examples, and they have a spirituality to fall back on? How are you influencing the narrative in your children's lives? Again, for a sustainable attitude of gratitude. You see, expressing gratitude is important for a person in order to improve their health and happiness. We all want to be healthy. We all want to be happy. But the reality is we do have negative thoughts that plague us daily. I would like you at this moment just to consider only one negative thought that has plagued you of late, plagued you recently. And maybe as I ask you this question, they are all just exiting from your mind. And this does happen because now there's no total recall about that negative thought. But let me just help you along. Maybe the negative thought for you is that nothing is working out for you. Nothing is working out for you. And I choose the term negative because it is just a perception that nothing is working out for you. Now, once a thought like this one enters into your mind, it then attracts other thoughts that come and affirm what it is that you're thinking. And other thoughts that would come to mind are, I'm not lucky, I'm jinxed, I mess everything I touch, I don't deserve good things in life. Why should I try? All because you felt at a certain moment that nothing is working out for you. If you are hard pressed to show proof that nothing is indeed working out for you, you would use your areas of focus in life. And you would say, well, look, I'm not lucky in love. I'm not lucky in career, in health, in money, in fun, in family. Note, these are the focus areas of my life. What is your focus area? It is so important that you come up with your focus areas in life, because then if you don't have a maxim or a construct to work from, then you're just leaving yourself open to being taken left, right, and center according to the way that the wind blows. Decide what is important for you in your life. And one tool is the wheel of life, where you come up with 8 focus areas in your life. So you will say that nothing is working out for me. And I know this for a fact, because when I touch on spirituality, I can't seem to get it right. I keep on failing on spirituality. When I've got friends, I can't seem to get good friends. I keep on jinxing my friendships. I don't deserve money because every time I get money, it just goes away, it just disappears. Or maybe I never even get it. I mess everything that I touch. My health can never seem to come to the top. I'm always unwell. I'm always going back to see the doctor. Why should I even try? Again, I say this is a perception, because these thoughts become heavier by the minute and continue to rob you of peace of mind. They begin to rob you in the beginning, and as it grows bigger and bigger, like a snowball effect, what ends up happening is that you are robbed of your peace of mind. So how do we get ahead of these negative thoughts and onto peace of mind? Well, the first thing that you have to understand is know that these thoughts, these negative thoughts, are coming from somewhere. And I want you to acknowledge where they're coming from. These are limiting beliefs. Now, limiting beliefs are the conditioning that we have had over time. This could be your 10-year-old self showing up in your adult life. Your 10-year-old self who would try to do things and things were not working. And people around you said to you, these things are not working, you're not trying hard enough, you're not good enough, you will never make it. And all that stayed in your subconscious, but because you were conditioned over time, it became your reality. And today as an adult, because you did not deal with that limiting belief or that truth that you thought was at that time, that nothing was working out for you, because you did not deal with it, it is showing up today. It could be your 16-year-old teenage self showing up today in your life as an adult, and you just feel you're jinxed, that you mess everything you touch, that you don't deserve good things in life. And today it feels so true. It is a perception. It is not the truth. It could be as a young adult and you were stepping out into life and you had arranged everything and all your ducks in a row. And as you start out, things just begin to collapse around you and you're not able to deal with this kind of failure. And therefore, it comes through to you as an adult today. the conditioning as a young adult shows up in your older adulthood. And you ask yourself, why should I try? Well, I'm going to give you a few tips here that I hope that you will use. And these tips are about changing the narrative from that negativity into a narrative that is going to propel you forward. The first thing you must do is identify where this negative statement came from and challenge it. If you find it's your 10-year-old self, your 16-year-old self, your 20-year-old self, take a moment in that space and acknowledge it. Allow it to wash over you, internalize it, and then begin to ask questions. And the first question you should ask yourself is, how have I benefited with this negative thought in my mind? And you will find that with this negative thought, you have been protected. You have been protected to the point where you have arrived at your comfort zone. So you may say that nothing is working out for me. But as a result of you saying that and your mind speaking to you in this way, what happens is you began to defend yourself in different ways. You began doing all your due diligence, ensuring before you step out to do anything, to speak, to step out, to act, you do your due diligence. You want to thank this negative comment for building that muscle of due diligence in you. Because you already knew you were failing even before you started. So you started going out to ensure that you've crossed your I's and dotted your T's. This way you grew a muscle. Unbeknowingly, this negative thought in your mind created something strong in you. And this formed your comfort zone. So if you take a moment and just reflect on these things, I'm unlucky, I am jinxed, I mess everything I touch. This just says you keep on moving forward. You keep on trying, but you keep on finding yourself in this same rut. So there's something you have been doing, and this is in your comfort zone. You've been making sure that the area that you are performing or existing in is safe so that you don't get into trouble falling outside that safe area. You've been doing your due diligence, you've been asking questions, you've been protecting yourself, you've created a comfort zone. So again, I ask, how do we get ahead of the negative thoughts and onto peace of mind? Because every time you want to transcend, these voices are coming into your head and there's no peace of mind. Remember, we want to improve our health and our happiness. So of course, the first thing we want to do is be grateful for that past. It's all about the attitude of gratitude. Be grateful. Now that we know what we know, we've got a list of these negative thoughts. Thank them and move forward. Take charge. Create an environment for yourself. Create a new narrative for yourself and choose to savor the moment. Choose words like, I am lucky. I am lucky in my 8 areas of focus. You wake up in the morning and you give thanks to the being that woke you up that morning. And you already speak to the 8 areas in your life. Give thanks for your family and your friends, the community that is around you that is going to support you during today, because we are being in the present. Very powerful. You're already changing the narrative. 21 days of doing this every day, and there will be a shift in your life. And then we are moving on to peace of mind. It's actually as simple as that. The whole thing now is, how disciplined are you? Are you determined? How determined are you? Is this something that you really want, or you just want to talk about it and be a victim? I encourage you to be a creator and start to seek your peace of mind. Change your narrative from the negative things in your life by accepting them, saying thank you to them, and moving forward, falling forward. So our questions for today are, who is surrounding you? Who can help you do this? Who can you use as a role model? Who has already done this? Who can you be a role model to? Is gratitude part of your speech and part of their speech? This is the narrative building. How can you influence the communication flow? So it's moving from me to you and from you to me. and we are sharing it out nowadays. We've got social media. It's in our speech of every day. It's really you who's driving this. So the answers to these three questions as to who is surrounding you, is gratitude part of their speech, and how can you influence the communication flow, all depends on you, and you're the only one who can answer this. You need to start the gratitude movement in your area of influence. Let's look at some quotes today. The first quote is, "The practice of gratitude empowers, it heals, it inspires, it fosters heartfelt well-being." How powerful is that? The practice of gratitude empowers, heals, inspires, and fosters heartfelt well-being. Just thinking about it, when we are looking at answering our questions about our community, what is it that we can do differently? We can practice gratitude, because then we're empowered by it. It heals us. We are going through pain. Many of us are suffering in silence, but this habit of gratitude heals us, one thought at a time. And we head on to our happiness and well-being and peace of mind. The second quote says, "It takes a lot of courage to have attitude during the dark times." And it does. But once you have it, it empowers you. I mean, during the dark times and somebody tells you you need to exercise gratitude, you might think that they are joking. But like I said, just being able to be grateful for something is important. Last week, we talked about being grateful for the dark times in our lives, because it is what happens in our dark times that helps us to come out like a butterfly and appreciate the good times in life. It is what we use slowly but surely to appreciate our lives and what we become. The third quote is, "When you start each day with a grateful heart, light illuminates from within." Isn't that beautiful? When you start each day with a grateful heart, light illuminates from within. And that speaks for itself. It is so important that you set the tone for the day, that you command your morning. Hence, your day shall end in that way. And if it is light that you are choosing to have during that day, this is what you're going to attract throughout the day. And anytime you feel like your energy is dying off, you will remember how you started your day, and it gives you a kickstart for you to continue. Energy and prosperity. That was our theme this May. And you can hear from the gratitude quotes, this energy is something that we need to live off. Wherever your focus goes, wherever your focus goes, that is where your energy is. Wherever your focus is, that is where your energy goes. These are things that work together. So your energy, your focus, your prosperity. The emphasis in May was on the marketplace, and our speakers shared in matters of resilience, understanding the target audience, being authentic through working the personal brand on social media. I mean, all these things came into play. I want to thank Lily Katule. I want to thank Tatiana Karanja, Salome Ayugi for keeping it real for women entrepreneurs. Thank you so much, ladies, because you brought it clearly that resilience is something that we needed to work with. You brought it clearly that we needed to understand our target audience that had totally shifted with the pandemic. You wanted us to be authentic through working our personal brand on social media, that we are speaking truth about self. We're not talking about the person that we are not, the fictitious character. We are being authentic. So how are we equipping the next generation to deal with stress? This is a daily energy that we all experience. Stress is a daily energy. It's good for us, but it's how we manage it. Are we intentionally speaking of failures and how to bounce back? You see, we have a whole generation right now that is not very sure on how to deal with failures, and for them, quitting is the only option. But why is this? Because as the older generation, we have not been there to give them the examples and be the role models and show them that failure is the option, because with failure, we can use our learnings and bounce back. Quitting is not an option. We can see these in the statistics of suicide. We can see this in the statistics of mental wellness that is going so wrong in the world today. We can see this in the statistics of domestic violence. This is all a reflection of how we are not intentionally speaking of failures and how to bounce back. So let's look at energy, prosperity, let's look at focus and how it is that we can use our failures as stepping stones to success. Resilience is the virtue that enables one to move forward despite the storms of life. We learn from resilience. We use our failures as learnings. We do not quit. We change our lanes, but we do not give up on the trip. We know where the vision is. We know our mission is to get there, and we know how we are going to do that. We can shift the lanes. We can pull into a gas station and take some rest. We can ask for help, but we do not quit. Resilience means growing stronger while being cognizant of the bumps in the road. The bumps will be there. Nobody said it'll be a smooth ride. It takes emotional intelligence to manage both your own emotions and those of the people around you. Resilience is endurance with action. And we need to know when to act. At times we've got all our plans laid out so well, but then when we don't act on them, when we don't implement and execute them, they just collect dust and it remains as a wish. It has not come true. So do we actively acknowledge the role other people play in providing our lives with goodness? Because in these times of resilience, we're not alone. There has been a community that has helped us. We need to go back and say thank you. Express our gratitude. What is it that we are seeing has been done for us? We acknowledge it and we express it. A few quotes to look at. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is a completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness may consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in acts. So it needs to be seen in action. Gratitude is shown in acts. What is it that you are doing in action? This endurance that we are seeing in your action, or is this just speech? What activity are you using to manifest the gratitude in your life? Is it your 21-day habit forming? Is it you creating this great movement of attitude of gratitude? Is this you communing with gratitude with your tribe, with your area of influence, your circle of influence, and making a difference? Is this you changing your narrative of the negativity, the things that you have been conditioned, your limiting beliefs? The next quote is, we must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. It's very easy to say that I will thank them tomorrow, but we are here today and gone tomorrow. There's nothing like the time that is here and now. The here and now is so powerful. I encouraged you last week to reach out to somebody immediately and say thank you. I encouraged you last week not to lose that moment, because both of you will be blessed. As you are saying thank you to this person is being blessed, maybe for an activity they were not even aware that they were doing. And then they blessed you in that action, in that act that they performed, where now you are grateful. The two of you have benefited from this experience, from this communication. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. You think of every virtue that you have. They're all great. But without gratitude, without an attitude of gratitude, they do not mean anything. We need to be able to have this movement of gratitude for it to be part of our narrative. We will have a better society. We will be caring for one another. We will be reaching out and helping one another. We'll be stopping and savoring the moment. This world is so fast. It is moving so fast. We want to slow it down with things like gratitude. We have to be intentional. Intentional living marked our mid-year talks. And that was in June this year. And they were profound. They were powerful. We had our first in June, and our first was a male guest. So LMC Consultancy had a male guest. Usually we have female guests on Tuesday Talks at 3. And we were able to take it not only to Facebook as we're doing now, but also to our IG platform as we celebrated Father's Day in June this year. And I want to thank you, Eric Mwanzia, for taking up your mantle unapologetically and being intentional through living by example for your sons. I want to thank you, Nancy Makumbi, my sister in love, for choosing to intentionally be there for my nephews and niece through teachable moments and homeschooling. I want to thank you, Julie Ogutu of Health is Wealth podcast, for reminding us that we must take care of ourselves intentionally towards a preventative healthcare society. Intentionally understanding why we do things is important. Next time you want to say thank you, stop and internalize the why, and then say thank you. You may ask, what does that mean, Lucy? I mean, I've already said thank you. Well, let me give you a personal experience. This year, I went through the loss of a loved one, and the support that came through was amazing. The prayers, the messages, the financial support to myself and to my family was just so overwhelming and so profound. And I had to stop and internalize why I'm saying thank you, because I was so humbled. So let's start with the prayers. And the prayers that were being sent to me, whether it was somebody writing out an entire prayer or sending me a verse, why was I grateful for these prayer messages and these verses that were sent to me? Because at that time, I had hopelessness, I had hollowness, I had a deep sorrow. And these words that were coming through in the prayers and in the verses were touching me in a way that gave me hope and made me smile. And this is where I'm talking about internalizing the why. So by the time I was saying thank you, I was coming from a place of understanding why I was grateful. When it came to the financial support, why was I grateful? I was grateful because it was always just enough. The hospital bills, the funeral home bill, the food bill, the power bills that were used, the data bills that were used, the water bills that were used, whatever it was, I was grateful. And now I knew why I was saying thank you. Stop and internalize the why. The supportive messages, why was I grateful for them? Because I felt alone. Yes, I was surrounded by my family, but in my grief, I was alone. And therefore, these messages made me know that I was not alone, and the power of the Holy Spirit was sent upon me. And for this, I was grateful. So I stopped, I internalized, and I said, thank you. So what has happened as a result of that now, in the future after that loss, is there's been quite a few of deaths that have happened to families of friends. And I have been there to support. My support now is totally different because I have experienced it myself. And therefore, because of stopping and internalizing, I am able to touch other people positively. I'm able to savor the gratitude and let my muscle grow. I hope that helps you to understand. Well, the festive season is upon us, and families and friends are going to get together. Now, you and I know that with friends and families coming together, in a very short time, a lot of things can go very well, but they can also go very wrong. Emotions can fly all over the room, and it can get quite ugly in an instant. Well, this gentleman by the name of Deepak Chopra, he's an author and is an alternate medicine expert. He's given us a few do's and don'ts, and I'd love to share them with you. As I was doing my research, I found them and I thought they were simple, relatable, and we can use them during this festive season when we are together with friends and family. So he gave us 5 do's and 5 don'ts, and I'll start off with the do's. So number 1, give everyone a break. Have the intention to let each encounter be fresh. Do give everyone a break and have the intention to let each encounter be fresh. Reintroduce yourself to your families and your friends. Get to know them all over again, as if they were strangers and now you were learning them. Enjoy them, enjoy their presence. Enjoy their presence. It is a beautiful thing to be reintroduced to somebody, and especially if you're doing this intentionally, try it. Leave the room when stressful situations arise. This is not you running away. This is not you being a coward. This is you choosing that the festive season is going to be a peaceful one. This is not the time to hash out things that are stressful. If you needed to do this, you should have done this before the festive season. Realize that everyone has a story. Everyone believes in their story, and all stories are equal. This will help you when someone else disagrees with you or comes from a place you find hard to handle, and this does happen. His 4th do is do intend to be a source of peace and happiness in yourself, and that speaks for itself. Intend to be a source of peace and happiness in yourself. And as you illuminate this light, people will respond to it with light. Any darkness in the room will be lit, and everything will come from a point of light. Let everyone feel that they're being heard by you. Be engaging, active listening. Don't wait for someone to finish so that you can give an answer. Be present. Those are your 5 do's, and your 5 don'ts are like almost an opposite of that, but let's go through them. The first one is, do not bring up the past. Some of us are very good at waiting for gatherings, and then we go and whisper in individuals' ears, oh, you know what so-and-so did, you know what so-and-so said, you know what is going to happen today, do you know this one is not coming? You know, those kind of things are not helping the situation when we are looking at being festive and bringing peace and happiness. Hold your tongue. Again, if you had an issue, you should have brought it up before the festive season, or wait until after the festive season. So do not bring up the past. Let's be in the present and enjoy each other's company. Let us get to know each other again. Do not use the holidays to wrestle with the relationship or family issues. That speaks for itself. Do not deliberately be a source or trigger of stress. Now, this means not finding fault, not reminding people of old memories, or not joining in arguments. There are those of us who really are happiest when we are doing this. I ask that you take a moment and choose peace. Do not pick sides and do not play favorites. So that is a Deepak Chopra sharing with us 5 do's and 5 don'ts, which I believe when it comes to friends and family, which is our theme today when we are communing with gratitude, will help you this festive season. And if you have been able to write them down, let us start using them today. A few quotes. The unthankful heart discovers no mercies, but the thankful heart will find in every hour some heavenly blessings, just what we've been talking about. Choose peace and happiness this festive season. Seek it and you will find it. If you seek drama, you will find drama. If you seek trouble, you will find trouble. So choose to seek peace and happiness and wellness this festive season, and you will find it. Choose it to seek it every hour. Choose to seek it in every moment, in every encounter, because you are looking at a thankful heart. The second quote, not what we say about our blessings, but how we use them is a true measure of our thanksgiving. Not what we say about our blessings, but how we use them is a true measure of our thanksgiving. We talked about resilience being in action. We talked about our gratitude being in action. What are you doing with your blessings? Are you putting them into action? You want to think about that, because as you do, it becomes that movement of yours of moving forward. You're able to influence a narrative and the conversation and the words that are being used in the community around you, and you're communing with gratitude. The last but not least quote. It's a funny thing about life. Once you begin to take note of the things you are grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things that you lack. Powerful. Once you begin to take note of the things that you're grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things that you lack. That speaks for itself. So choose to take note of the things that you are grateful for. As we come to the end, we want to look at our takeaways for a sustainable attitude of gratitude. And the first one, there are 3 takeaways. The first one is peace of mind. We all want peace of mind, and it is ours for the taking. We want health and happiness. This is what we need to choose. So let us choose to seek it. Who is around us? How can we build up the peace of mind? What words are we using? What are we encouraging? How are we impacting one another? Peace of mind. Internalizing the why before we say thank you. I encourage you to take a moment and do this. Before you say thank you, you're just about to say thank you to someone, take a moment and understand and internalize why you're saying that thank you, and then say thank you and savor that moment. I am saying thank you because this person gave me hope. I am saying thank you because this person gave me support. I am saying thank you because this person trusted in me. Speak to yourself. And last but not least, this festive season, intentionally seek peace and you will find it. Next week, episode number 3 will be about being present to gratitude. And you do not want to miss that at all. You want to ensure that you are there next week, just seeing, being present with gratitude, as we would have gone through appreciation, gone through communing with gratitude today. This is just amazing what can happen next week. Yeah, so for now, remember to like our pages, as you can see them scrolling at the bottom now. Our Facebook page, which is hashtag LMC Consultancy, which is hashtag Tuesday Talks at 3. Our website, which is www.lmcconsultancy.com. IG, which is lucy.macridis. And our YouTube channel, where this recording is going to go up by the end of day today. So I would like us to help build one another with this attitude of gratitude. And until next week, be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.